we'd love to welcome Senator Mark Daly, who is Cathaoirleach, the chairman of the Senate of Ireland. Welcome, Mark. Or
Thanks very much for having me.
Senator Daly, as I should actually address you.
No, Mark is fine. Mark is fine.
Is Mark fine? I don't know. Before you appeared in front of me, I was expecting somebody very old, but I'm very pleasantly surprised.
I think it's probably the sunlight is playing a trick.
Not at all. You're speaking to us from Kerry, are you?
That's right, yes.
The kingdom. The kingdom.
The kingdom is right. The kingdom without a king.
Well, listen, Mark, thanks a million for joining us today. The Hellenic Community of Ireland was founded in 1964, and there were very, very few Greeks in Ireland at that stage. My family actually moved here in 1948, just after the war. So, you know, we've had years and years here. But, I mean, there are so many Greeks in Ireland now. It's extraordinary. So thank you for wishing us all Greeks a happy Independence Day on the occasion of the bicentenary celebrations for the Greek Revolution on the 25th of March, 1821. So have you ever actually been to Greece or Cyprus?
I have been to Cyprus. I was there as part of a delegation I think it's about 10 years ago. So I have been, but I have been to Cyprus, but I haven't been to Greece. But I have obviously met your ambassador, and I've been studying the efforts of the Greek government, obviously during the financial crisis, but also the Cypriot government in terms of reunification, because obviously it's one of the debates we're having at the moment in Ireland. And Greece has been at it, and well, the Cypriot people have been at it along with Greece in nearly for as long as I've been born. So it's going on 40 years, and there's a lot of similarities, and of course there's huge differences as well. But it's not an easy issue.
No, actually, you're quite right. It is very, very similar, the Irish situation and Cyprus. Now, neither Greece nor Cyprus has a Senate. So could you say a few words to us on the role of the Senate here in Ireland?
Yeah, I suppose it was one of the issues that came up after partition 100 years ago this year, was how would a minority within the new Irish state of the 26 counties have its voice heard in a parliament where its overall population throughout the whole of the Republic of Ireland, the 26 counties, was only 5% of the overall population. So they had very little chance of electing any members to the Dáil, to the Parliament. So the reason that the Senate was established 100 years ago was to make sure that the Unionist community, who found themselves on the wrong side of the border, on the wrong side of partition, and the Protestant community would have a voice within the parliamentary system. So there was quite a disproportionate amount of members of the Protestant community, members of the Senate. In fact, the first chairperson of the Senate was a Lord Glengavin. So he was a member of the Protestant community, and a large minority of the senators back then, 100 years ago, were Protestants. And so that was its purpose. Its purpose was to give voice to minorities. It was then brought into a new existence in the Constitution in 1937, and it was based on Catholic social teaching, along with being devised by a mathematician. So it's the most convoluted electoral system in the world. I won't even bore you about how difficult it is to get elected. My first Senate election, I travelled the equivalent of driving from Ireland to Perth in Australia in 6 weeks.
That's
and I
unreal.
never left the country. And we get elected by public representatives. So the members of the councils all around Ireland and the members of the Dáil, the members of the Senate, they vote for the Senate. And then there are 6 senators elected by universities. And again, part of the reason for that was that 3 of the 6 were elected by Trinity College. One college elected 3 of the senators. All the other colleges elected the other 3. But that was because at the time in 1937, Trinity College was a Protestant university, mainly attended by members of the Protestant community, and therefore it would virtually be guaranteed that 3 senators would be from the Protestant community, regardless of what else happened. And then 11 get appointed by the Taoiseach. That's partly to get a bit of diversity, but also to ensure the government has a majority in the Senate. So the Senate's job really has always been about representing minorities and minority opinions. And we've had 3 presidents have served in the Senate. So Michael D. Higgins, the current president, was in the Senate. The first president, who was a member of the Protestant community, was also a senator for a time. And Mary Robinson also served in the Senate. And Mary McAleese's husband, President McAleese's husband, also was a senator. I served with him as well. So it represents minority, not only minority communities, but also minority opinions. So in relation to gay rights, our longest serving senator, David Norris, was a member of the gay community and was championing the rights of that community when it was illegal. Really? It was illegal. So he championed those rights, that minority opinions became the majority opinions. So that is its role. Its role is about scrutinising legislation, but it's also its primary function has always been about representing minority groups and minority opinions.
That's quite extraordinary. I mean, that was sticking his neck out at the time, when it was illegal. That was very brave of him. Tell me something. What is your role as chairman of the Senate?
Well, that's a good question. My role is like a referee. So when I'm a member of my party, the government party, Fianna Fáil, when you become the Cathaoirleach, you have to step back from being a representative of your party as such. And your job is to be the referee between all sides. So we would have regular meetings of the leaders of the groups and the whips, which I would chair. And then we would discuss what issues we should move forward on and how we should proceed on everything from how to handle the pandemic in the chamber, how to organise votes in the chamber when we have to do with social distancing. And next year, of course, is the 100th anniversary of our Senate. So we have to, oversee how we would mark that occasion, recognising, obviously, the people who served prior to us and those who served over the last 100 years, but also those who will serve in the future, and what role the Senate will continue to have into the future, because it must keep evolving and changing as society changes.
Ah, yes. And finally, Mark, how long does the chairmanship last? I mean, is it like the presidency in the States, 4 years, or how does that go?
It normally lasts the term of the Parliament. So if the Parliament runs, which a maximum of 5 years, then the chair would sit for the 5 years. But in this particular instance, because of the agreement between the Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael and the government parties, on the day that our Taoiseach steps down, Micheál Martin steps down, and then Leo Varadkar becomes the new Taoiseach in December next year, December 2022.
Yes.
Then I will reverse roles with the deputy Cathaoirleach at the moment, the deputy chair. He will become the chair in December 2022, so December next year. So I have about 2.5 years. I've done about 9 months so far, and I have another 2 years roughly to go.
Well, do you know something, Mark? You taught me everything I didn't know about the Senate tonight. That was very, very interesting. Thank you. That was great. And again, thank you so much for joining us from Kerry. It was a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you, and may I wish you the best luck and every success. And again, on your 200th anniversary of the start of your War of Independence and the key role that a lot of Irish people played in that. I'm delighted that they did, and look forward to working with everybody in the community here and into the future.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
God bless.